Good morning. Thanks for having me. First of all, I mean, at Tikehau, we started investing in climate more or less 10 years ago. So, we have already $1.5 billion, which is not a huge amount of money due to the massive challenge. But I think, as you pointed, you're right, there may be some greenwashing everywhere. So it's very important that you stick to your policy and the climate really need a lot of money. And I think we are getting all in that direction.
It needs an absolutely stunning amount of money, in trillions of dollars, according to the IEA and others. You'll be fully aware of all of that, Antoine, as well. The problem is, and this has been talked about by anyone who actually knows the industry, there's going to be a lot of blind alleys. There's going to be a lot of technologies that just won't work. And yet there's going to be some absolutely fantastic technologies that do work as well. That's got to be one of the biggest problems with allocating capital to smaller or perhaps medium-sized companies going down a certain route. It's whether it's the right route.
Yeah, I think you're right. And if you look at the entire spectrum, first of all, you will have to allocate money in early stage company because technology is going to be paramount here when it comes to hydrogen, for instance, or energy saving. But also you need, assets and solar panel and things like that. So I think capital will be allocated in the entire spectrum, and you have to pick the right opportunities in the right geographies with the right companies. But I think SMEs will be critical there because that's where you can really grow probably at a faster pace than larger company.
One of the problems, Antoine, seems to be just standard definitions of what is a company that is appropriately pursuing a carbon neutral strategy at this point that you can believe in and buy into. And unfortunately, there's a plethora of ways to try to understand this, but very few of them are consistent over the short term. How do you then negotiate your investment portfolio with that in mind?
Yeah, I think, when it's come to rating such initiative, I think we will have a proper standard around the world. But as you know, standards are very different, for instance, between Asia, Europe, and the US. And we saw that in the past, for instance, any bio-related, agricultural, what's bio in Germany is not the same as the US, not the same as France. So I think we are really at the beginning there. So obviously you want to really pick and choose the right company, and you use your internal model, the majority of the time, and then hopefully we get to standardized area. But I think it's really just the beginning. So you have to make sure that you really pick what's really clean and proper, and rather than being on the border, if I may say. It's not a precise answer because I think we are really in the early days. So I think everybody is looking at the spectrum from large investment companies, sovereign wealth fund, large asset manager, going in one direction, which is very good for the planet, no doubt. But there will be probably some casualties because, as we see in a lot of other areas, when there is too much money chasing a small amount of assets, then it creates inflation and potentially a bubble.